Can I tell you a secret? So most adults were never actually taught how to use the bathroom correctly. We were taught when to go to the bathroom. We were taught not to have accidents. We were taught to wipe and wash our hands, but nobody taught us how to pee. Nobody taught us how to poop. And because of that, I see moms, and I was one of these, every single day accidentally creating pelvic floor problems without even realizing it. Leaking, pelvic pressure, hemorrhoids, constipation, pain, difficulty emptying. Not because your body is broken or it's not working. It's because you spent years doing things in the bathroom that your pelvic floor was never meant to do. So today we're talking about adult potty training, the things your pelvic floor wishes someone had taught you years ago. Before you roll your eyes and you think, Becca, I've been using the bathroom for 30 plus years. Stay with me. If you've ever peed just in case, pushed your pee out faster, hovered over a public toilet, strained or held your breath to poop, had hemorrhoids, or felt like you couldn't completely empty, this episode is for you. You are listening to Belly Birth Beyond with Pelvic Floor Mama, hosted by Becca Boving, a PTA, mom of two, and now your go-to pelvic floor coach. Welcome to the safe space where no topics of motherhood are off limits and judgment is left at the door. Too many mamas are dismissed when they've got valid concerns. If you're sick of hearing that's normal when it feels otherwise, keep listening. We are diving into all things bathroom habits and what you need to know. And this is what brought me into pelvic floor and what I fell in love with, because there were so many things that I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this. And I wish someone told me. I do so many of these, or I did. And so there was a lot of misconceptions that I was like, every woman needs to know about this. Like, we need to be shouting it from the rooftops. Like, our bodies deserve so much better. We deserve to feel good in our bodies, and we don't have to feel like this. And sometimes it just starts with these little changes. Say, what? It also helps us with our children when they're learning to potty train and how to teach them, right? Because we go through potty training and we learn how to hold our bladder and how to hold our bowel movements or our poop. But then from there, we never think about it again. We never work those muscles again. We never think about what we're doing and how it can affect us again. That's it. We don't even think about potty training as in pelvic floor training. But it is. That's what you're doing. You're training your pelvic floor to hold. When we teach our kids this, we're training our pelvic floor, their pelvic floor, to hold their pee and their poop. Like, we're teaching them how to use the pelvic floor. So if you've ever, let's just start here. Your bladder is actually really cool. It's one of the, I'm geeking out, guys. I'm geeking out, moms. It's one of the most retrainable muscles in your body. Okay. So what can happen is we can create bad habits rather quickly with our bladder, right? So if we constantly get into this state of like, I have to go to the bathroom every time before I leave the house, just in case, or it's just a kind of a habit, whatever it may be, your body gets used to having to go. So there's a couple different ways this triggers it. One, it's that like classical conditioning of like, let's say every time you get home from work or from the grocery store or somewhere, as soon as you go to like open your door, you're like doing the pee dance and you have to pee and you have to run to the bathroom. It's because you've trained your body and your mind, your brain, that you have to pee at that moment. And you haven't untrained it. So every time that happens, you feel like you're doing the pee dance and you're running to the bathroom. Okay. So that's one way this happens. The other way this happens is your bladder becomes trained into only allowing it to fill to a certain point. And once it gets there, it's like, okay, I can't hold anymore. It's time to go. Okay. So we need to retrain your brain and your bladder to be able to hold it longer. You should be able to go 2 to 3 hours without using the bathroom. Unless you're like drinking coffee and whatnot, then you need to go to the bathroom sooner. So basically, almost anything but water is like an irritant, like a bladder irritant. So what that just means is it irritates your bladder, especially like pop, caffeine, some teas. And so what that irritation does is it, like, your bladder doesn't want to hold on to that. And so it tells you have to go to the bathroom. And so we don't want to necessarily hold on to those irritants for long periods of time, because this can create other problems. But we want to be able to drink more water, which a lot of us need to drink. And honestly, water isn't even enough for some of us, which is why I love like instant hydration. Just a quick tidbit. Literally love them. Electrolytes, magnesium. There is a code I have. If you ever want to try this subscription, you can always pause, cancel, whatever you want. My husband and I both have like a subscription thing that comes through, and we pick our flavors and we change them because then we just mix between the two, or we get the variety pack. But anyways, water's never enough. I've been dehydrated twice, one during pregnancy, one postpartum. Neither one are fun. So if you are struggle to drink water, or water just doesn't seem to be enough because it's not, that's something I would look into. It also has magnesium, so it helps with sleeping, cramps, swelling, all those things. But when we are drinking like teas and things like that, and we're having these irritants in our body, we have to empty them. So you want to drink more water, and you want to make sure, and then you're like, well, that's counterproductive because the more water I drink, the more I have to pee, right? So as you're drinking more water, we have to be like, okay, when's the last time I went to the bathroom? And it's like, if you know that you're going to the bathroom every single hour, then we need to be able to make it like every hour and 10 minutes. Like you slowly push it back, okay? Not to the point where you're peeing yourself, but to the point where you're able to go just a little bit longer. Here's where momhood, I think, gets us sometimes. Have you ever heard of like a power peer? Again, I'm pretty sure I was definitely this is me. I used to do this as well. You go to sit down, you're in a really, like, you're in a hurry. You have kids who will destroy the house in 60 seconds when you're peeing, or you have a work meeting and you just ran to go pee. You're a teacher, you're a nurse. You don't have time to go pee. So when you do, you're literally power peeing because you got to get back to whatever you're doing. The kids are destroying your classroom, or you have a teacher who stepped in real quick to help you. Like, life takes over, and I get that not everybody has a perfect schedule where you can just go to the bathroom at your own leisure. Okay, I'm not naive to believe that that's a thing. But when you're pushing to pee, you're actually pushing through your pelvic floor. Okay, so this is what happens when you sit on the toilet and when you have to use the bathroom. What happens is you sit down, your pelvic floor then relaxes. The relaxation of your pelvic floor triggers that sphincter to allow urine to come through. Okay, so that trigger is what allows it. So it's not pushing, it's not anything like that. It's literally relaxing. So some moms will complain that they can't empty all the way, will complain that after orgasm they can't pee, or what, there's a lot of different things, but those are like the two common ones I get. So if those are things that are happening, what you can do is as you're sitting down, instead of pushing to pee, you need to try to relax your body. And I don't just mean like relax, because no one can relax when you're told to relax. But I mean, think about letting your shoulders fall. Think about unclenching your jaw. Think about like relaxing that like brow furrow, right? Relax your eyebrows, relax your head, your face, those types of things. And take a breath where you allow your belly to expand when you inhale. Okay. When you inhale, you are bringing air into your body. You're allowing your belly to expand. Inhale. This is important. This is, so many moms don't breathe correctly. Okay. So as you're sitting there and you're relaxing your body and you're inhaling, okay, that relaxation is allowing your pelvic floor to lengthen, which can allow it to relax and can allow that sphincter then to release, because once the pelvic floor relaxes, that can release. So we don't want to be pushing to pee. We don't want that to happen. If you're someone who is pushing to pee, try not to do this. My daughter pushes to pee. We have to have conversations about like, just sit and try to relax, but she's a power peer. She's going to be 4 years old and she's a little power peer. Okay. So we have to work on no pushing to pee, because that's pushing through like your pelvic floor and it's making it weaker, and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So in the long run, it's going to really affect you, whether you start leaking or having pain or things like that. Okay. Hovering over a public toilet. I get it. I was a chronic hoverer. I mean, almost any toilet that wasn't like friends or family. Literally. Okay. This is a problem because you're squatting over the toilet, and you know what happens when you squat? Your pelvic floor is engaged. Your pelvic floor is working. So again, you're pushing to pee. So sit your butt down. If you don't want to sit your butt down on the seat, a lot of places have those like toilet covers, or put toilet paper on the seat. Sit your booty down. Sit down. It's really important to sit down. Okay. Sometimes you're in a porta potty and you don't want to sit down. Okay. I still don't sit in a porta potty. I'm not going to lie, but I kind of like lean into it and I hold the bar so my legs aren't working so hard, which I'm pretty sure my pelvic floor is still working, but I'm hoping a little less than normal. But also, how often are we peeing in porta potties? Probably not very often. So sit your booty down. You put toilet paper on the seat, or like the little sheets that you can put over it, and make sure you sit and you stop pushing to pee. Okay. No more pushing to pee. We talked about pushing and peeing and power peeing. Those are like the same things. Pushing to poop. Yep. Pushing to poop. This is how I teach moms how to give birth, is by practicing when they poop, which means you should not be holding your breath and bearing down really hard to poop. If you've had hemorrhoids, or you do have hemorrhoids, or you've had them previously, or you want to avoid them, then I would stop holding your breath and bearing down to poop. I would stop doing that, because that is what's creating that pressure and creating those hemorrhoids. It can be painful. It can create more. It's creating pelvic floor dysfunction. So one, if you're having constipation, we need to address that. Okay, a lot of times if you're having harder stools, or you have a hard time getting your poop out, or you're not pooping every day, we need to address what's going on, whether it's your diet, something else. Sometimes you can still have constipation and you have like softer poop come through. So like diarrhea can come around it, and that can seem like you are pooping, but you're not. Like there's just various things that can go into this. We're just going to try to stay at like surface level here. So holding your breath to poop, you don't want to do. Get a squatty potty. Squatty potty is going to help change like the angle of your bowel and makes it easier for you to poop. So it's not as straining. But you want to breathe. Breathe out as you're pooping. Just breathe. And kind of allow things to come through a little more naturally without like holding and clenching and squeezing. It's going to increase your hemorrhoids. If you're struggling with hemorrhoids, anything but, literally that's the name, anything but, B-U-T-T. They have a cream. We've had the cream in our house. They also have like an anything itch that we use in our house too. It can really help. So if you're having like pain with your hemorrhoids and you want to put something on, this can be a really great ointment. There's a link down below that you can just grab it if you're wanting it. It lasts a pretty long time. So you grab like this container, but it lasts a really long time, and it's actually super nice. Like it's very soft, and I don't know, it's very nice. And I'm very particular with things I put on my skin and things I put on my children. So just know that I fully support it. And you may not, but I'm just give it a try. Okay. So hemorrhoids are not just a sign of pregnancy. They're not just a sign of like postpartum, but they're a sign of like that straining and pushing. Magnesium citrate can help you with, instead of like Miralax or things like that, like magnesium citrate is like a more natural way to keep your stool soft. They have pill forms. I would recommend the pill forms. However, if you're really desperate, you can do the liquid. Kids, if they're having constipation, they have to do the liquid, but like a really small dose. If you're pregnant and you're struggling with postpartum, I'm not going to lie, I've never had constipation as bad as I did with my daughter. Like, I don't even want to explain how terrible this was. At a certain point, some things that can help is like do a forward lean inversion before you poop or before you try to poop, because sometimes shifting the baby into a better position can allow an easier path for your poop to come through. Okay. And then doing some like gentle mobility of your bowels, which is basically just doing some mobility of your body to kind of help things move through your bowels, especially during pregnancy, because it's really hard to do like belly massage and things like that with pregnancy. Those things can help a lot. It's like keeping things moving, making sure you're getting enough water, especially during pregnancy and postpartum. Even like if you're breastfeeding, oh my gosh, you need so much water. And I'm telling you guys, water is just not enough. Sometimes you have to have those added like electrolytes and other things included to help support you during that time. Okay. Especially now that we're in like the midst of summertime. So hemorrhoids, get your squatty potty. Don't hold your breath and bear down to poop. Utilize your breathing and just help it go through. Okay. Did you learn anything? You're going to change anything? Do anything differently? No more power peeing, no more peeing just in case. If you do feel like somebody was like, okay, but what happens if I like walk through the door and I do have to pee? You have to take like 10 seconds. You have to take a breath, think about something else, or count to 10 until you can control that urge to pee, and then slowly make your way to the bathroom. You might have to do it again once you see the toilet, or if you hear running water or whatever it may be. So you pause again, you make sure you hold that pee, you have that contraction, and then you continue your walk to sit down on the toilet. Make sure you sit, allow your pelvic floor to relax. Don't stop your stream midstream. So many people are like, that's how you know if you're doing it right. Yeah, that is how you know you're doing it right, but it doesn't mean that it's good for you. So stop stopping your stream, stop stopping your pee in the middle of pee. Not good for your pelvic floor. Okay. You want to make sure that you can relax it and have a better thing. Okay. You want to Now hold on to bladder irritants. So make sure you're drinking more water. Squatty potty, right? We talked about this. Magnesium citrate can be helpful. We want to just have better bathroom habits. Sometimes pelvic floor issues just arise from all these little things built up. And so if we can go back and fix some of these things, then we have less to recover from. And then it makes it easier to have long-term help relief, those types of things. Okay. This, I hope, was helpful. If it was, leave a comment, or if you don't feel comfortable commenting on this episode because we're talking about adult body training, then you can send me an email and be like, I didn't know, or I'm going to try this. Or if you do try these, let me know. I truly love hearing from you. So do not hesitate to leave comments, send me emails. I love it. Or just send me a DM on Instagram. That's where I interact with a lot of moms, is right through Instagram there. If you have one, connect with me through there and let me know that you listened and what was helpful to you. And if you have any topics you want to talk about, let me know. I'm putting links down below to help for all resources that you want. There'll be anything but instant hydration, programs. If you're wanting a one-on-one session, I have very, very, very limited availability. Sometimes I don't offer them at all. So you can always check and see if there's a time that I am offering them. But everything you're going to need is going to be inside the Pain-Free Pregnancy and Postpartum package. That's where you get like community. That's where you get you get me in your back pocket for 3 months for free, just with included in the package. And then from then on, it's $27 a month to be included in the community and have that access, like unlimited access to me. And that's been amazing for so many moms, because sometimes things change and you have questions and you need help and support. And that's just a great way to be able to stay on top of that and to have those questions answered, usually in the same day. Okay. Go try those bathroom habits, change what you're doing so that way you can have a healthier pelvic floor, and let me know how it's going. I'll be here next time. Nothing is TMI when it comes to motherhood, and common doesn't necessarily mean normal. Always trust your gut and never stop advocating for the care you deserve. If you enjoyed this podcast, help it reach more mamas like you by subscribing and leaving a review on your preferred listening platform. Keep in touch with me on Instagram by following Pelvic Floor Mama. See you next time.